Hola otra vez y bienvenidos a un otro episodio a Quiero hablar de este álbum y quiero hacer un episodio entero en español en vez de inglés, pero hay un problema. La problema es mi español es poquito malo o posiblemente muy malo, entonces voy a cambiar al inglés. So, I kind of wanted to do that because I just noticed before I did this album, I wanted to check something from a previous episode, and when I typed for my episodes on YouTube, they were subtitled, not just the subtitles, but the actual title of the video in on my YouTube here in Mexico. I've never seen this before. It was in Spanish. I've never seen it. It said "Quiero hablar de este álbum." That was the title of the video. I thought that was interesting. Never seen that before. Maybe YouTube is experimenting with AI. Anyway, hello again and welcome to another episode of I Want to Talk About This Album. I have an audience here. My neighbors have been watching. There's a young, maybe a teenage girl, I think, kind of coming out and giggling and running back inside and then coming out and running back inside. So I think she's inside now. But anyway, as you can see, I'm on the roof, which means it's another rooftop album, which brings me to a point before I get to today's episode of I Want to Talk About This Album. I want to take a little survey. I don't know if there are enough people to get a good sample size, enough people that watch this, let alone that are going to take the time to leave a comment and take my little stupid survey. You know, I've been alternating. Well, this is my second episode on the roof. And I got some good feedback. Some people said they liked it. My friend Dallas said he said he loved it. He said it was very unique. The only YouTuber, at least of my type, who does episodes like this. And Damien, Long Gone Loser Rock Show, he said he liked it. And a few of you said you liked it. And I also asked my friend Dallas, when I do the episodes in we call it a room, but we don't call it a roof, even though we call it a roof. And a roof, we say room, but we never say room. I was experimenting a little bit. My ex-wife was over here the other day, and she said, "Why do you do these episodes like in full, like I am now, head to toe, full body length?" And I sent a screenshot to Dallas of the last episode I did, the Black Sabbath Technical Ecstasy box set, and I took the screenshot of it, and then I cropped it to make it look like maybe more similar to this, like from the waist to head, like a big time TV talk show host. And I said, which do you prefer? And Dallas said, whose opinion I value, he said this, the zoomed in or the tighter looks much better. He said the other one, the wide one, was too busy, is what he said. So what I want to know is, which do you prefer? Now I think it goes without saying on the roof. Let me go back to my spot. And I've got my berry marker here so I know where to stand. No cracks, no wisecracks from that wiseacre Mike Pratt about Barry Marker, his friend Barry Marker. I think when I'm on here, when I do rooftop episodes, I like the widescreen. I think it looks kind of cool like this. So that is not going to change. But really, let me know. The other episodes, when I do in my studio, as I call it, which is actually my room, maybe Dallas is right. Maybe I should be just, cut off like this. Please let me know what you think. And like I said, I'm still experimenting with the looks and the aesthetics of this series. All right. So, and one more thing before I get to today's episode. How about those Buffalo Bills last night being down by 15 points twice? They were down 34-19 and 40-25 to the Baltimore Ravens, and the Bills came back to win that game 41-40, not in overtime, but in regulation time. Unbelievable. Yes, so good start for week one for the Buffalo Bills, who I've been a fan of for decades and decades, whose games I used to go to when I lived in Toronto. So hooray, go sports. All right, so today, I'm finally at today's episode after about probably 4 to 6 minutes. I'm going to talk about Trouble, the band called Trouble, and the album kind of is called Psalm 9. It was called originally, it was just self-titled, Trouble, but it became retitled and I think known in fan circles as Psalm 9, I should say. And there's a palm tree in front of me behind the camera. Maybe that's why I'm confusing or conflating those two things. So my history with Trouble, it's pretty minimal. I first heard this album, and let me show it here. There it is. All right. I first heard Trouble in, I guess around the time when this came out, which was 1984. There was I'll put this down here beside me. There was a compilation record that I bought sometime in 1984. In Canada, there was a label called Bonsai Record, which I think was basically, later it kind of became Megaforce. All the bands that were on like the John Zazula label, Megaforce, I think all of them were on the Canadian label was called Bonsai. So when I bought Kill 'Em All and Ride the Lightning, Not Master of Puppets, the first Slayer, Show No Mercy, I bought was like that. The actual record, the label of the actual record album was Bonsai, and it had this side and that side. It was obviously a Japanese themed label. And so they put out this compilation album, I guess in 1984. It was, I can't remember what it was called, but it was a compilation album of all bands were on that label. And Metallica was on there, Creeping Death. Raven, Hung, Drawn, and Quartered was on there from All For One. There was a Tokyo Blade, I don't remember the other songs. There was a Tokyo Blade song on there. There was a Gravedigger song on there. I think Venom was on there. I think Slayer, it was either Black Magic or Evil Has No Boundaries was on it. What else was on there? Maniacs. I think there was a band called Maniacs, which had a funny spelling. I can't remember. Anyway, and Trouble, and I do believe the song The Tempter was the song on that album. I bought this album, Trouble, Psalm 9, based on, some people say based off, which doesn't make any sense. It's based on. Stop saying based off. I bought this album based on the song The Tempter that was on this Bonsai compilation album. There's a woman over here. Never seen her, but she waved to me. And I'm really, really conspicuous standing here on my roof. I live in the very, very, very last house of this. It's like a gated community. And I'm it's just ravine everywhere here. All the houses are here. So I'm like one floor above street level. So I'm really on display. Is this going to melt being out here? It's not too sunny today. Anyway, so I bought, God, I get so distracted. I'm like a child. And so I bought Psalm 9 originally, I guess around 1984, based on the one song, which is the first song on this called The Tempter, which I will talk about when I get to the track by track. But I never got into it. I remember kind of being disappointed in the album at the time. I loved The Tempter so much that I bought this album. And then when I listened to it, it just, I think I didn't dislike it, but it just didn't catch on with me the way that I'd hoped it would based on the song The Tempter. And there were other albums like that too. I don't remember any off the top of my head, but there were some. The Grim Reaper, See You in Hell, one of the most disappointing albums I ever bought. I bought that based on the album cover alone. I thought that album sucked. And another one called Thrust. The band called Thrust. The album's called Fist Held High. Sometimes you got disappointed. So, and then recently, when I say recently, I mean in the last maybe 2 years, I rediscovered the song The Tempter, and I heard it. I thought it sounded better than ever. And I hadn't listened to it or heard it for decades and decades. I thought, oh my God, this song, The Tempter, is fucking awesome. And I need to listen to Trouble again, because I never bought anything that Trouble did after this, their first album. I do remember a song, At the End of My Days, that was on the second or third album, maybe, I don't remember. But never get into them. And so I downloaded it a couple years ago. I thought, oh man, this is a great album. And then I bought this record. I think I've had it for not a year, probably towards the end of 2024 I bought it, or early this year I bought it. And I'm finally getting around to talking about it today. And I love it now. I don't know what I was thinking when I was 14 when I bought this. Obviously, and hopefully your opinions change, and you not as you get older, but as time passes you by, your opinions, whether they're about music or movies or, anything in life. Hopefully, for most things, you don't think the same thing as an adult as you did when you were a kid. That's what I think anyway. So I've rediscovered this album and I like it a lot, but I needed help in the form of notes. All right. So I will get to the notes now, but first I will open it up and I'll come a little bit closer. Come a little bit closer. And here it is. This is, and here's the hype sticker. It says, Trouble, Psalm 9. Trouble's classic debut album from 1984 with faithfully restored audio represents everything that doom metal should be. All right. And I agree that this sounds, no, I'll take a few seconds to get to before I get to the track by track. This album does, I got to watch my step. I feel, kind of off balance. It's a long way down, as I mentioned before. This album is a really, really strange album in that I think when I listened to it at the time, it kind of sounded maybe outdated or old-fashioned, maybe because it sounded like Black Sabbath. But when I listen to it now, it sounds, instead of outdated, we can call it retro, which is a nicer way of saying that it sounds outdated or old-fashioned. And so I think for me now, this album sounds quite contemporary with some of the, the newer or more recent bands that I like. This kind of doom metal, sludge, stoner, something like that. But I really, really, really like this album a lot, as evidenced, as you will see in my track by track. And I'll open it now. It comes in one of these sleeves that opens up at the top. It was never sealed or wrapped. So it's just like this. The hype sticker is on the, and it's that thick plastic. And that's going to blow away. Let me put that down there. All right, so there it is. There's the back. And let me open it up. I have opened it. I know it's inside. Kind of a cool little, that it's a little detail, that it's in a black inner sleeve or dust jacket, I think it's called. And it's just regular black vinyl. And it does come with a separate insert. Nice thick. Actually, it's double. It's a what do you call this? It opens up. So there's the front. There's the back, and there it is. All the lyrics and everything. I love this, man. Just give me all this, and I'm happy. And look at this. There's a picture of Trouble hanging around a cross with that guy hanging on the cross, and I think. I was thinking about this today. Maybe that was one of the things that I didn't like about this record, was that it kind of I don't think that I knew at the time that their lyrics were so overtly religious or Christian or Catholic. I'm not sure. I don't know if that turned me off. To me, they sounded, and their image was more satanic, which was what I was into at the time. And I feel like it was much later that I learned that they were more of a Christian band than a satanic band. Anyway, I mean, their song titles, The Fall of Lucifer, and, they mention Lucifer and Satan, I think, in a couple of songs. But anyway, for whatever reason, I never fully embraced this Trouble album. So now I will, as I get my stuff together, and I won't give you my back, so I'll go like this. I'll get to the track by track. So, as I said, the first song is The Tempter, the first Trouble song I ever heard, the song that, made me discover Trouble. Oh, fuck, this is just an unbelievable song. When I heard this again for the first time in decades, a couple of years ago, I thought, my God, why did I never get into this band? It's just unbelievable. I can't believe how good The Tempter is. And it's got that, it's kind of got that eerie, very Black Sabbath. A lot of this record and some parts of this record, especially The Tempter, it's got that slow, doomy intro. It's got the spoken word. Not that Black Sabbath had a lot of spoken word, but that kind of spooky spoken word intro. I am the Tempter, ruler of hell and bringer of evil. Beware. And then it gets a couple of dogs. I see 3 dogs over here. Somebody mentioned that they were impressed with the lack of dogs barking in Mexico, because someone said they heard like 12,000 dogs barking in Mexico. All right. I'm distracted already, but oh my God, The Tempter is just a fucking, starts kind of slow and doomy, and then it's got this real great, faster, up-tempo chugging riff, a real headbanging song, The Tempter is. Love it, love it, love it. For sure, my favorite on the album. And then the next song is called Assassin. And this one, when I did listen to it, or when I have listened to it in recent months or the last year or so, I did remember this one. Now, what I guess I had forgotten about, can everybody see their dog here on the other roof? He's peeing. It's a male dog, and he's lifting his leg on something. I think he's maybe just out of frame. He's peeing on it. It looks like a Christmas tree. There, he's going in the door. Can you see him? Maybe I shouldn't do episodes up here anymore. Yeah, so Assassin is kind of the opposite of The Tempter. It's, I mean, in the music, in the big, under the big umbrella of music, it's of course, it sounds the same as The Tempter, but in the smaller, under the smaller umbrella of metal, it's quite different. Whereas The Tempter is more, heavier and more Black Sabbath. Assassin, I think, is much more new wave of British heavy metal. It's a little bit more up tempo, and it's just got some new wave of British heavy metal riffs. And I did remember this one. The chorus says, and Eric Wagner, the singer, he's got this very high pitched voice, which I probably also didn't like at the time. I do like him much more now. I prefer his kind of lower register, but what was the lyric? You're a cold-blooded, I can't sing it. You're a cold-blooded killer. Yeah, Assassin is excellent. Love Assassin. You're a cold-blooded killer. You must be insane. Love that song, Assassin. Next is Victim of the Insane. He mentions, you're a cold-blooded killer. You must be insane. And then the next song is called Victim of the Insane. The very, very intro of this song reminded me of, or I should say in the other way, because it came out later, Anthrax. They had a great, great album that I think I'm the only person who ever bought. In 1995, that album was called Stomp 442, and there was a song on there. It was the second song. Random Acts of Senseless Violence is first. King Size is the second song. That's one I want to reference. Fueled is third. I love that album. So this one, Victim of the Insane, really the intro of Victim of the Insane, I thought, oh my God, this really reminds me of Anthrax, King Size. The intro, just the first, 10, 15 seconds or something. So it's got that intro, and then it's going back kind of like to The Tempter. It's not that new wave of British heavy metal style like Assassin. It's more doomy and slow, a little bit more like The Tempter. Next is Revelation, parenthetically titled Life or Death. Another one that's slow and doomy. It's got a great chugging riff. I love Revelation, parentheses, Life or Death. Next is Bastards Will Pay. I remember this song title probably when I was because when I was 14, it was kind of cool to hear, them say bastards in a song, or a song title called Bastards. This is, they kind of go back and forth, like a slow doomy and then new wave of British heavy metal, slow and doomy, new wave of British heavy metal. Bastards Will Pay. It does have some, I think, some kind of new wave of British heavy metal parts, some slow and doomy parts. Come on, people, let me hear you say, you fucking bastards are gonna pay. And I apologize for my singing, but that's an excellent song, Bastards Will Pay. Next is The Fall of Lucifer. Why didn't I like this song when I was 14 years old? They said Lucifer in the title. This, I think, is also more up-tempo, some new wave of British heavy metal riffs, and kind of some chugging riffs too. It's a good song. Next is End Time. This is an instrumental. There's not too much you can say about instrumentals. I like it. I would have preferred it as most instrumentals if it had lyrics in it, but it's okay. End Time is pretty good. There's the opening riff of this, or somewhere near the beginning of End Time, when I listened to it today, reminded me of Paranoid Opioid, the second song on the great Corrosive Conformity album called In the Arms of God. Brought that to mind. Next is Psalm 9. This is, I guess, what ended up becoming the title track when the album was renamed to Psalm 9. This is, often the title track of albums is a real standout. The kind of the album maybe centers around it. And there's something unique about the title track, and I feel that's the same here. It's an excellent song, maybe my second favorite after The Tempter. And what was the other one that I really liked? Oh, Assassin. Probably Psalm 9 is my second favorite after The Tempter. And it's also got the spoken word intro, you know, using, and I wrote all this down. There's no way I could remember it, but I really like the spoken word intro that I will read now. The Lord shall endure forever. And it's got all this, you know, old English, you know, how, I guess how they used to talk like 2,000 years ago. The Lord shall endure forever, for he hath prepared his throne for judgment. And they that know thy name will put thy trust in thee. For thou, Lord, has not forsaken those that seek thee. And I think that's it. So lots of thee and thou and thou and thine and things. I don't think he said thine, but things like that. Yeah, I think Psalm 9 is an excellent song. There's a middle part that's, you know, in Hand of Doom by Black Sabbath, and maybe it's because I'm still in Black Sabbath mode. You know, the middle part of Hand of Doom, you're having a good time, baby, but that won't last. Part of the middle part of Psalm 9 reminds me of that Black Sabbath Hand of Doom part. Now, on this version that I have here, not on the original album, I don't think, there was a bonus track called Tales of Brave Ulysses. Like Ulysses. In Mexico, it's Ulysses, which is actually a fairly common name even now. But I think in Canadian or American culture, Ulysses is a very, very old-fashioned name, and nobody's called their kid that in 120 years. So Tales of Brave Ulysses. I never heard this song before. I learned that it's a Cream cover. You know that band Cream? They had that song called, it was Eric Clapton, Blackout in the Red Room, I think it was called, Blackout in the White Room. They sang that song, and this is Tales of Brave Ulysses. Ulysses is a Cream cover, and this is, I think, a great example of what a bonus track should be. Bonus tracks should be like covers, instrumentals, things like that, what I've called filler in the past. So yeah, it's pretty good. All right, so that's it for Trouble Psalm 9. Thank you for watching, and again, please take part in my survey and tell me, when I go into the studio, is it better when I'm full body, like in the last episode? You can go back and look, Black Sabbath Technical Ecstasy. Or is it better when I'm like this? I don't know. My idea is, and what Dallas said he really liked, was from, because I can't see myself in the camera here, from like waist to the top of my head. Is it something like this? Around there, and it would be in the bedroom, so a little bit less busy, as Dallas said. All right, that is all. As I reach down and pick the crowd up, as Chris Cornell sang, and Reach Down by Temple of the Dog. Now I'm going to reach down and take this album. It's called Psalm 9. It's by Trouble. Thank you for watching. Yes,